When I came to Malaysia, I fell in love when I found out that everywhere there is a surau. There's no way that you'll miss your prayers. Converts make better Muslims. Why? Because they study Islam. Muslims, we want to do da'wah. We want to get lots of non-Muslims to join us. But we don't realize that we have Muslims that needs to learn and to love Islam so that they can practice Islam correctly.
Sister Latifa, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, you are from Singapore
Yes.
originally, but you live in Malaysia.
Yes.
What's your story with Islam?
Okay. I was in Singapore, born in Singapore, brought up in Singapore, but I decided when I retired to hijrah with my late husband to Malaysia. Why? Because I felt that in Singapore, it's not an Islamic, it's a secular state. It's difficult to really practice Islam to the core. Like, for example, when I came to Malaysia, I fell in love when I found out that everywhere there is a surau.
Yeah.
So there is no
Surah
way...
means prayer room.
Prayer room, right. There's no way that you'll miss your prayers. Whereas in Singapore, you have to look for a masjid. And it takes time running around.
But of course, in Singapore, there is a sizable Muslim
it's a
community.
sizable, but small amount, maybe about 20% or so. I don't know what's the latest, but about that amount. It's
But
a minority still.
You are originally Chinese.
Yes.
You are Chinese anyway.
Yes.
But you were born to
A non-Muslim family,
a non-Muslim family,
but
and then
I was given away to a Muslim family.
but you were not brought up as a practicing Muslim.
Yes, because in general, most Muslim, I would say 80%, they are only Muslim by birth, but they don't know much about Islam except that, okay, you must learn to read the Quran, memorize the Quran. Once you memorize the Quran, you know everything about Islam.
But
Which
what
is-
happened? What
Yeah.
happened that made you decide to take Islam seriously?
Okay, when I wanted to get married to a non-Muslim, and in Singapore and also in Malaysia, we have to get our spouse to be, who are non-Muslim, to attend Islamic classes to get to know about Islam. So that's where, when I attended the classes with him, and I found that, mashallah, as a Muslim, being brought up as a Muslim, I do not know about Islam. So
So as if you were getting to know it for the first time.
yes, that's right. Although, the general, as I say, Muslim families in Singapore, Malaysia, and Southeast Asia, I would say, they would say that, okay, once you just go for a study for the Quran, memorize the Quran, and that's it. That's all that you need to know. Anything like, why must you fast? Why must you pray? Why must you do this? They don't answer those questions. What's the purpose of life? Why are we here? Where are we going? All these kind of things are never being asked. It was taken for granted. And I believe so that this is something that we need to correct in the Islamic society, because you find that converts make better Muslims. Why? Because they study Islam.
They take it seriously.
Yes.
Because they come to Islam out of choice.
Yes,
They make
yes.
the choice.
That's right.
Whereas
Born Muslim is...
people who are born into Islam, they think they know everything about Islam.
Yes. And that's sad. And because of that, although... You see, Muslims, we want to do da'wah. We want to get lots of non-Muslims to join us. But we don't realize that we have Muslims that needs to learn and to love Islam so that they can practice Islam correctly.
Now, you accompanied your husband
Yes.
to be
Yeah. No. Yes, I accompanied my husband to be at that time to
at
attend
the time
class.
to attend classes.
Yes.
But he had already been a Muslim.
No.
No, he
No.
wasn't.
Actually, at the end of it, it's just by qadar of Allah. I did not get married to him. He did not become a Muslim. Okay.
So you never married him.
I never married him, but Allah brought me to the classes. Because of him, I attended the classes,
Subhanallah.
to discover Islam, mashallah. And later on, I married. I married a revert also, but he is an Englishman. He is already a Muslim for 10 years. Yeah, so we got married in Singapore. And then we decided to hijrah to Malaysia after a while, because as I say, there were a bit of problems. Like, for example, when I decided to put on the hijab after my Hajj, at that time I wasn't married yet, I lost my job of 20 years as sales manager.
Because you wore the hijab.
Yes. I was given, when I came back from Hajj, I was wearing my hijab and they said, is this a fashion to wear the hijab when you come back? I said, it's not fashion, it's my religion. And they said, well, last time you weren't wearing it, why must you wear it now? I said, well, because last time I didn't know, now I know. So I had to make that change. And since I've gone to Hajj, I think it's necessary to make changes. Yeah. Otherwise, what's the point of going to Hajj? Hajj is not a holiday package. It is something where you go and you repent and you make good of your new life,
And you vow to make a new start.
Yes, a new start. So they said, well, you have to choose between your job or the wearing of this hijab, because he said you are the sales manager of our company and it does not represent us. Okay, the image, you do not portray the image of our company. So I said, look, he said, and you handle, and at that time, I was handling like 99% American accounts, all the big accounts. I was in the travel industry, sales manager. I worked myself 20 years to get to that level. And of course, it's very heartbreaking, to find that I have to give up. So they gave me a choice, very simple, straightforward. You either take off the scarf or your job.
Well, unfortunately, the hijab is being fought against in so many parts of the world now.
But the beautiful part was that this was at least 30 years ago. Yeah. Okay.
Have things improved?
So what happened was, I prayed and I asked my ustad, is really wearing the hijab in the Quran or is it just man-made? Because I said, I'm going to lose everything. Even my late mother said, you are going to lose everything, not only your job. You're going to lose your boyfriends. You're going to lose your friends. You're going to lose everything that you have built for the last 20 years.
That's your adopting mother, right?
Yes, my adopting mother. So I said, well, everything that I got today is through Allah. If Allah's going to take it back, He can do so. Right? He just pulled a vein in my brain and that's it. I'm a vegetable and nobody would want me also. Right? So I said, I think I have to just stick to what I believe is true and that I've already checked and it is from the Quran. Oh, you believing woman, dress yourself, cover yourself. So I took that step and true enough, 24 hours, they gave me notice, 20 years of service. Wow. This was very sad. Yeah. So, but I didn't even dare to tell my mom, because I was the breadwinner. And I was the breadwinner. And I didn't want my mother to get worried because she already told me. She says, you're going to lose everything. Yeah, what mom says is always true. Yeah. So I dare not tell her. For 8 days, I keep going out.
As if you're going to work.
Yes. But I went to my friend's place to actually cry to Allah, oh, please help me. Who's going to pay the bills at the end of this month, But Alhamdulillah, within 8 days, I was offered a job. I lost the job of sales manager. I was given the job of general manager.
Oh, that's a promotion.
Yes. Okay. Because you see, Allah's work in wonders. But the most beautiful part of this whole episode that I like to share is that less than 6 months, I was up on the stage in the American Club giving a talk about traveling to Uzbekistan. And lo and behold, who was down at one of the audience was the boss who sacked me. And he was shocked because he told me I would lose all my American accounts if I were to wear the hijab.
Mm.
And I told him I didn't get my work, my business, because of how I dress. I got it because of hard work.
Yeah.
And I could prove to him, and I was standing in the American Club on the stage, proving to him that with my hijab, I could get more business. And I did all the American accounts that was. So for the next 10 years as GM, I had all the, so that was the greatest joy in my life, to know that when you stood up for something in Islam, no matter how hard it is, Allah will save you.
You know, that's a fulfillment of Allah's promise.
Yes.
And He says in the Quran, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. He who, or who, she who, it can be either, fears Allah, Allah will make an exit for them out of their predicament.
Yes.
And will provide them with sustenance they never anticipated.
Yes.
And whoever depend on Allah, Allah is enough for them.
Yes.
And alhamdulillah, this is...
So that's why I want to share, because I think that, especially reverts, I'm sure, will face a lot of issues, and I want them to be strong. Just be strong on what you feel is right,
Are you working with reverts now?
Yes, I'm working with reverts.
What do you do now? What sort of work?
Okay, I actually sort of teach them, share with them about the beauty of Islam, the purpose of life, why we need religion.
How do you teach them? Where do you do this?
I do it in my office. I have a NGO. I'm now volunteering, I would say, in an NGO where I get all these students who wants to study in English because in Malaysia there's not much. There are a few run by reverts, but government and main sources of learning Islam is always in Bahasa. Not much in English. So I get a lot of non-Bahasa speaking, like Filipinos, Chinese, Europeans who would come, and I'm not teaching them like Rukun Islam, the 5 pillars of Islam, because I felt that part they can read out. But I feel the most important part for them when they become Muslims is that, or if they are going to become Muslim, is that they must know why. What is the purpose of this life? Why do you need the religion? And why Islam? And then, after answering to these, then I will show them the beauty of the practices of Islam, so that they will enter Islam with love, with passion, with desire, and will practice Islam to its fullest. Because I think that's important. Because unfortunately, in Asia, used to be, even still maybe now, most of the conversion is through marriage.
Yeah.
But fortunately also, because through marriage also they know about Islam, then they studied and they become good Muslims.
Some of them take it seriously, but not many, not all of them.
Yes, there are some who were lost after, let's say, the marriage didn't work out. That's very sad, because they never actually got to know Islam properly. So
the spouse has to be serious.
Yes. Because
if the spouse is not serious, maybe the other person is just not interested.
That's right. They can't. So the spouse, but I've also heard where spouses are not serious, but when they got to know Islam, they started on their own journey.
Subhanallah. Allah guides them.
Allah guides them. But still, I think we have to do our part to make sure that born Muslims know about Islam and love Islam and practice Islam, so that they can attract their spouse who are new Muslims to become better Muslims.
How do you see the trend? Is there interest? Is there more interest in Islam now in Malaysia?
Yes.
I'm talking about the non-Muslims.
Yes. Actually, this is sad that because of Gaza, the awareness of Islam has, mashallah, and I think that this was the beauty, for every misfortune, there is always the good side of it.
Yes.
And I think one of them is that there is this awareness of Islam. The whole world now wants to know about Islam. And you see that if you read in every country, the rate of conversion has exploded, right? So that's why I feel it's very important that Muslim organizations, like what I'm doing, is to make sure that these people who wants to know about Islam really get to know about the true Islam, the beauty of Islam, and that they will convert not only because of emotion, but they will convert because they understand and they learn and they love Islam, so that they can be really good, strong Muslims.
Now, I want to take you back a little bit.
Yes.
Now, you grew up in a Muslim family, but that is not taking Islam seriously, not practicing probably. When you started taking Islam seriously, what was their reaction? Were you still living with them?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
In Asia, we normally live with our parents until we get married, normally. Yeah. Very different from Europe. Okay, there was one incident also that I like to mention that really brought me close to Islam. Not only was the marriage part, but when I was 19, I was working in a travel agency, and the first year I got invited on a trip to Philippines, and it was a fully hosted trip. They paid for your hotel, accommodation, everything, and they wanted you to know more about Philippines so that you can bring tourists there. Yeah. So I was very excited. Yeah. Very excited. And of course, took my whole pay packet. Even took my bosses. My bosses asked me to give. He gave 300 ringgit, $300 Singapore dollars. I remember at that time, 40 years ago, to buy a duty free, cigarettes and liquor. Because, but as I say, at that time I was just a nominal Muslim. Didn't understand. Was just. So I took that and I went to Philippines. Was very happy. Was my first trip and all that. But something happened to me. On the first day, we were brought to a disco. In Philippines, because Philippines was very famous for its disco at that time. Yeah,
When was that?
This was
in the 80s?
No, earlier than that. In the 80s. Sorry,
In the 80s.
You're right. Yeah, in the 80s. Yeah. So
the many Arabs used to go to the Philippines. Maybe for that purpose.
And I love dancing. So I danced the whole night, left my bag, and then I realized next day when we were out shopping and I wanted to pay, I found out that my wallet was gone.
Oh, it was stolen.
And the worst thing was that being a young, inexperienced traveler, I put everything, every single penny in that wallet, including my identity card. So when it got lost, I was like, I wish the earth could swallow me, because I was with total strangers. The whole group was all different travel agency. I was alone, no friends, no money. The only God-saving thing was that this whole trip was hosted. So I have accommodation, I have meals, I have my etiquette bag, but I have nothing. So that night, I cried my heart out in a single room, in a first-class hotel. But, I felt so lost, because first time traveling, 19 years old, inexperienced, lost everything, have nobody to turn to, can't even call home because we got no money.
You felt lost.
Yeah, I felt really lost. The only thing was that was the time you look for God. Then I said, I don't even know how to pray. And I said, what do I know? Fortunately, I know Suratul Ikhlas, Kul Huwallahu Ahad, Allahu Samad, And I read that by the thousands and I fell asleep in my tears. With this recitation, the only thing that I know how to communicate with God. Okay? And then in my heart of heart, I don't know what happened, I said, God, if I really deserve to lose this money, because Philippines is such a poor country, it's okay. But I cannot afford to lose my boss's money. The $300 that he gave me to buy alcohol and all that. I said, when I come back, I have to refund him. And that's like my whole salary this month is gone. Next month is going to be gone. What am I going to live on, So I said, I fell asleep. And, lo and behold, the next day, we were supposed to leave Philippines and go to Hong Kong. And again, they brought us to the disco. Because disco was the thing that you had to know about, learn about. It's a different. I said, I'm not going. They said, no, you have to go. This is an educational trip. So you have to.
In the disco.
Yeah, it's an educational thing. We can't leave you alone. We know you lost all your money. Don't worry. If you have to buy, if you want to have any drink, orange juice or what, we will buy for you. So I had to go because it was my job. So I went, and of course I wasn't very happy, and I didn't dance. Somebody came and just sat and said, "Can I sit? Why are you not dancing?" So I explained. At the end of that little conversation, maybe 20 minutes, he said, "Where are you staying?" I said, "I'm staying at the Hilton, Manila Hilton." "Oh, I'm also staying there." He said, "Okay, I tell you what, when you get back, wait for me downstairs for a while. I have something to give you." So I was a bit shocked. A total stranger who's got nothing.
So that happened in Manila?
In Manila, on the last night. I was supposed
just before going to Hong Kong?
Just going to Hong Kong. So I said, okay, there's nothing for me to lose. After all, it's a hotel lobby, it's bright lights, and this guy wants to give me some, whatever it is. True enough, came back to the hotel. I came back with my group in the coach. He came back and he said, "You wait, hang on." He went to the reception, and in those times, you keep your safe box. There's no safe box in every room, even in the 5-star hotel. So they put in the reception, right? You have to go. So he came out, he got an envelope, and he gave to me. He said, "Don't open this envelope until you're in Hong Kong." So this girl said, "Oh my God." Well, anyway.
It can be anything.
Yeah, now when I think about it, it could be drugs.
Yes.
I could be in prison for the next 20 years, How stupid. But at that time, I was so innocent, and I was thinking, I was so tired, so I just put it in my bag and left. When in Hong Kong, I opened up. Lo and behold, it was a stack of Hong Kong dollars. And I said, why? This person who don't know me, and I don't know him.
That is strange.
Yes, it's very strange. But I remembered he said that I will be in Hong Kong, also on the way back. But I think we might miss each other because you may have already left back to Singapore. So I said, no. I said, which hotel is in? We just had a conversation. I remembered that, and I said, okay, I'm going to call this guy and tell him to please take back his money. I cannot accept this kind of thing. So when I called the hotel, I found he was not checked in yet. And I left a message. And I said, "I'm so and so, please call me back." And true enough, that night when I came back after the tours, we were supposed to leave next morning. There was a phone message. So I called. And you know what? When I called and I said, the moment he picked up the phone, I start stalking and said, "Mr. Ahmad, why do you do this? This is..."
Where was he from?
He was from Pakistan.
Oh, Pakistani.
He said was a businessman. He was in textile business or something like that, and was from Pakistan. I said, "Mr. Ahmad, why do you give me this money? I don't deserve this money. I want you to come and I want to return it to you because it's not right." You know what he said? He said, "Who are you?" He said, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm the person that you met in Philippines, in the Manila, in the disco." He said, "No, I have not been to Philippines." And he said, "How did you get my number? How did you get my number? I mean, this hotel." So it's because you told me. So he said, "That's very strange." He said, "Why would a person want to give you money and run away from you?"
That is really strange.
Yeah. So I said, yeah, I'm also, and I had been goose pimple. I said, oh my God, who did I meet at the disco? Was it a jinn? Was it an angel? Can angels be in discos? So, I was shocked. Then I said, I must see you. But we were on different side. One, he's on the Hong Kong mainland. I was on Hong Kong Island or something. Cannot remember. And we had to take a ferry, to go across. So I said, it's already nearly 12 o'clock. I said, no, I don't want to meet people also late at night, and the hotel is not this right. So he said, okay, never mind. Give me your address in Singapore. When I come to Singapore, you're the first person that I'm going to look for. He said, because this is very strange. Why would somebody use my name, give you money, and then didn't tell me about it? And it's just, it's a mystery.
Did you ever resolve the puzzle?
Never.
Really?
It's already, I think now 50 years.
Wow.
I've never met this guy. And the more beautiful part was that when I came back to Singapore, I didn't touch that money. I did not spend it. Came back to Singapore. I had to change to Singapore dollars. It was exactly $300 that I asked Allah for to pay back to my boss. I didn't have an extra 5 cents. And can you imagine? Exchange rate, the amount that I lost was not the amount that I asked for was not the amount I lost. Now I was thinking I should have asked for more. You know what I mean? I said, God listens. Oh my God. In the hearts of my heart, because nobody knew about it. You know, I wouldn't have told people, said, I lost $1,000, 300 was my boss man. I wouldn't have said such a thing. But exactly. So I knew it was a miracle.
Wow.
And from that day onwards, I said, oh my God, Allah listens, the Creator listens. Now I must do really something. And before I left, I used to tell my boss in Singapore, I used to tell my ustad, I said, in Singapore, the job that I'm doing, it's impossible for me to pray 5 times a day. Right? But after when this happened, I quickly started to study about how to pray, started looking desperately.
So what happened with you had an impact on your life afterwards?
Yes, because I felt that, miracles happen. Luck may happen once. But if it happens 2-3 times, it's a miracle, And it cannot be explained even up to today.
It's amazing.
So I said, this is God's miracle. So miracles do exist even to common people like us, only if you are true and sincere.
Maybe that was an invitation from Allah to you, come to me.
And the beautiful part was that I used to tell my ustaz to pray 5 times a day was impossible. After that incident, I not only pray 5 times a day, but I recovered, do the qada of the last 3 years that I've not been praying. So I do 15 times a day.
Wow.
Okay, and I could do it. Why? Because I was convinced. So that's why I feel that now, new Muslims, they got to have that conviction. They have to get that love. Then only they will do anything. Even, as I say, give up my job also. That's it.
Well, Sister Latifa, it's been really
MashaAllah.
a pleasure talking to you. And thank you very much again for coming today to talk to me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.